Hi, this is Dr. Keisler, and I wanted to take a few minutes and introduce myself to you and welcome you to my course. So a little bit about me. This is me. These are my two boys, Benjamin and Christopher. In this picture, they are 6 and 3. I am originally from Long Island, which is why if you're listening to my screencast, sometimes you'll notice when I get excited, you might hear that East Coast New York accent come out. But I have been here in Long Beach for the past 10 years, so I don't think I have an accent anymore, although others would argue with me. I went to Hofstra University in New York. You may or may not know it. I think our biggest claim to fame these days is that we've hosted the last presidential debate of the last 2 presidential elections. So I know when you walk on campus, and I went back and visited this summer actually, when you walk on campus, there's signs all over about those debates. I got my master's degree in educational administration at St. Peter's College in New Jersey. And I did my doctoral work at USC, University of Southern California, which is where I became friends with Dr. Bowers. See, that's us at the football game. We both did our doctoral work together. I'm sure she's going to be really happy that I put that picture up there. But anyway, it's an important piece of my history, right? So let's talk a little bit about my experience in education. So I actually started off as a Teach for America Corps member. As an undergrad, I was actually a political science and communications major, and decided after I graduated that I wanted to do something not related to political science or communications. So I applied for Teach for America. And if you're not familiar with Teach for America, it's a program where top university students agree to go and spend 2 years teaching in an underserved urban or rural school district somewhere in the United States. Back when I was a part of Teach for America, it was they only had 13 placement sites. I think now they've got 28 across the country, and they have similar programs internationally, not run by Teach for America, but run by Teach for America alumni who've created offshoots of the program. So I always joke that now it is a well-oiled machine, people being trained all over the country and big names associated with it. But way back in the 90s, when I was a Teach for America Corps member, it was a pretty small movement. So to me, it's been really a source of pride to see it grow. So anyway, Teach for America then began my educational career. And obviously I did not go back to anything related to political science or communication. I stayed in the field of education. We started off that very first summer as a Corps member in Houston, Texas. So getting all of my training with the Houston Independent School District, and then off to my placement city in Newark, New Jersey, where I spent 4 years teaching 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 6th grade in the inner city there. After staying in Newark for 4 years, really tough place to teach. I taught at 2 different schools there. I decided to, with my husband, or boyfriend at the time, but now he's a husband, we moved to Long Beach. He's a California native, and after spending 4 years in Minnesota and 4 years in New Jersey, he had had enough of the weather, so he convinced me that we should move back to California and do our doctorate work here. So we both went to USC. Like I said, that's where I met Dr. Bowers. That's where I started, where I got all of my experience teaching on the West Coast. I taught with Long Beach Unified for 3 years while I was doing my doctoral work. I taught 4th grade and 5th grade in North Long Beach at Starr King Elementary. Then the year that I worked on my dissertation, I actually moved up to San Francisco, and I took a job as a director with a nonprofit called Partners in School Innovation. So if you're not familiar with Partners in School Innovation, they're an offshoot of the Bay Area School Reform Collaborative, which is a group that works on a lot of educational reform issues up in the Bay Area. As a director, I was in charge of 2 school sites, managing AmeriCorps volunteers there and doing teacher training and coaching around literacy. So all focused on reading, language arts, on improving the test scores in underserved schools in San Francisco and San Jose Unified. So that was kind of a neat job, but I didn't like the weather much in San Francisco. Sorry to any of you who may be Bay Area natives. So I decided to move back down to Southern California, and here I have stayed in Long Beach. So what do I do? So I teach, obviously, right? I teach at Cal State Fullerton. I am actually a part-time faculty member, although you couldn't know it from the amount of classes I teach. But after I did my doctorate work, I decided to stay home for a couple of years while I had my children, and didn't get a full-time job right away, but then obviously discovered that I was a little bit bored, so I started teaching part-time. So I teach or have taught, I teach all of these courses actually on a regular basis, so Read 508, Read 511, Read 514, Read 516, Read 536, Read 560. So I hope you like this class, because there's a good chance you are going to have me again. Sometimes I make the joke that you've had the Cal State Fullerton program as taught by Laura Keisler, because I have had several students every single semester. I write and I train, so I love to go out on the road and do professional development. I work with lots of school districts in the area. I spend a ton of time working with Paramount Unified, Long Beach Unified, several charters in the area. I am an author and a trainer for Teacher Created Materials. I know that many of you as teachers are probably familiar with them and use lots of their resources. Speak at lots of conferences, and so the topics that I speak most frequently about or train on, and Dr. Bauer is usually my partner in crime, so we do lots of this work together. But we go out there and we talk and train and write about English language learners, academic language, vocabulary, intervention, assessment, and writing. So those are probably the topics that we spend most time, and obviously, as all those topics relate to reading and language arts. This is the book that we put out a couple of years ago together, so we do a lot of training related to that topic. So really serving K through 8 teachers, but we do some work with high school and some with adult learners. So besides teaching and grading is actually what I spend most of my time doing these days, our classes have gotten quite large over the past few years, right? But I guess that's a good thing, because that means probably that the economy and education is bouncing back after a couple of rough years. So I spend tons of my time obviously grading and prepping these classes, but other than that, I'm an avid gardener. So I love to spend time in my backyard with my vegetable garden. So I run it all year long, got tons of stuff in it, and spend a lot of time out there with my kids and trying to get them to actually eat the vegetables that they grow, but they're not really that excited about that. I run, so I'm a runner. I actually this year reached a personal goal of mine, and that was to get my Beach City medals. If you're not a runner, the Beach City medal means that you've either run the Long Beach, Huntington Beach, and Orange County, either half marathon or marathon consecutively. So you get to run 3 of them in 7 months. So I only did the half marathons. I don't know if I'll ever actually run a full marathon. It seems like an awful lot of time, but I've been doing the half marathons for a couple of years now, so never say never, right? 4 hours seems like a long time to be running. And then taking selfies in the airport with these guys. No. But obviously I spent a ton of time with these guys, with Benjamin, with Christopher, and I know that a lot of you write in those first couple of posts about your experiences as parents and teachers, and watching your kids learn to read is a really valuable experience, and so the same has held true for me. I've been teaching about reading for a long time, training about reading for a long time, teaching other people's kids how to read for a long time, but I think really watching my own children learn to read has pulled together a lot of what I know and given me a really different outlook on how language and reading develops. And kind of as a side note, what's really interesting is that my kids, one of them and the other will soon, attend a dual immersion school. So it's not really dual immersion, it's actually pretty much 100% in Spanish the first couple years. But it's been really neat to see how those early literacy skills that I and the preschool my kids went to prepared them for has just given them the seamless transition into learning a second language. So all those skills they had in Spanish, all those pre-reading, in English, I'm sorry, all those pre-reading skills really have transferred and facilitated them learning a second language. So really a cool experience for me to see this happen. And then of course there's my husband, right? It wouldn't really be fair if I made this PowerPoint and didn't show him, because I guess he helps me out with all this stuff too. So I hope that this helped you just learn a little bit more about me. Please make sure that you go onto the Titanium site, and if you haven't, update your profile. So I'm taking a look at some of your assignments and your initial posts and getting to know you guys a little bit better, but that profile is also really helpful. We do, I know as professors, click back to it sometimes when you guys write something and we're trying to figure out what's their experience again, or where, where are they getting it from, where have they been. And so being able to just click on your name on Titanium and go see your profile is really helpful to get us to learn a little bit more about you. So again, welcome to my class, and I hope we have a great semester.